Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today we're going to be running T4 Abyss in a different ship from the Gila, and it looks like the Gila, I know, but it actually isn't the Gila. This is the Onyx. It's the heavy interdiction cruiser of the Caldari. And there's not really a particular reason I want to run this in terms of efficiency. It's just because I think the Onyx just looks so damn good. I really just love the look of the ship. Just the default skin, the shape just looks really amazing. And as you guys know, I have been doing a bit of exploration in this as well. So that kind of inspired me a bit to get back, or at least give this a go in the Abyss. This is the first time I'm actually ever going to be trying this ship out in the Abyss. And it's like, it's quite an expensive ship. The fit is not that expensive. Like the actual ship hull costs quite a bit. I think it costs like 300 or 400 mil. So it's, but you know, obviously we're on the test server, so it's not going to cost that much. You see here, just 1 mil. And I'm using heavy assault missiles because they actually do reasonable amounts of damage. Heavy missiles do a lot less damage, which is quite annoying. And I've got Caldari Navy ones, so the faction ones, which will apply quite good and got good range. I've also got some rage for some extra damage if needed. You can see here there's quite a bit more damage. If we test it out here, look, 640 damage. But then we got the Caldari Navy if we ever need to get a bit of extra applicability or extra range. So we'll just put the Caldari Navy to begin with, because usually if you get a lot of small things in the Abyss, it's like sometimes you can get the battleship waves, and those will be very good for the Scourge Rage, but I'll be starting off with the Caldari Navy because I think we'll be having to use these a lot more due to application problems. I'm using a booster, so a B-type medium shield booster. Not any particular implants, no, I'm not getting any crystals. I just got a few missile focused implants, so these will make me apply better damage and also have a bit better range. You can see my feet. Here's my profile picture. This is a glitch that seems to happen sometimes, where basically your face should be here, but instead it's just the complete opposite, your feet. That's interesting. If you're a guy who likes feet, then that'll be a good actually alternative to your profile picture. So I have then been going with an Afterburner fit, and that's because I feel like there won't be really much kiting here. We're going to be mainly brawling, and I don't want to have to I don't see any need to have to like keep my distance. And especially since we're using heavy assault missile launchers, they don't have a long range, so we won't be able to, you know, fly to the or the extraction caches, because we will have to fly directly to them. And if we don't want to fly directly to them, because then if we do, we won't be able to do damage to the other enemy ships that are far away. So here we probably just have to use an MTU, but I'm not going to bother with the MTU because MTUs just take forever to do. That is also something I could maybe test later. And I'm using a Webifier then, this Federation Navy one, because this has a really nice 14-kilometer range, and this will be used to enhance our applicability. The really good thing about the Onyx is it has really good base resistances, so we've got really good thermal and explosive resistances, and this will be really good for Triglavians. The only problem is we've got low EM resistance, and this will not be so good if we're against like omni damage types of ships, like for example Charybdis. But it shouldn't make too much of a deal because they do a lot of like mixed resistances, so these will help a lot. The biggest threat I could see being the drone battle cruisers, which will have big issues with the EM damaged ones. They all do crazy amounts of damage because they'll hit our EM hull quite hard. I'm using 2 Multispectrum shield hardens to get a bit of buffer, and I'm also using a damage control just to play it a bit extra safe. And I'm doing exotic, so I'm doing a raging exotic, a T4 exotic, because the Onyx is annoyingly enough locked to kinetic damage, so it doesn't have bonuses to other missiles. It only has bonuses to kinetic damaged missiles. So we'll see how this goes, and this is the exact type of wave I think there's going to be a big deal, or going to be difficult, but it shouldn't be too hard. If we just keep our range on the spark grips, we won't have much of a big deal. And I'll switch over to Scourge Rage, because the Scourge Rage will do a lot more damage, and the 23 kilometer of the Scourge Rage shouldn't be any issue, because I think the spark grips or the Tessera, the drone battle cruisers, they have a range of about like 15 kilometers, so it's not that big. You can see here there's like a blue cloud. It's going to make our signature radius bigger, but it would not be any issue right here. Also, a good thing about the Afterburner is that obviously your signature radius is not as gigantic as the MWD fits, but on the other hand, it's a lot harder for us to cut it here. You see here, only 500 meters per second. That's really slow. I think, yeah, they're going faster than us, so we're going to just have to try to blast away and hope they do not kill us. Actually, we could just web them to keep them away so that they don't get too close to us. Look, he's Okay, that Ember Grip is getting a little bit close, but we have really good thermal resistances. Ember Grips to thermal damage, and that shouldn't be an issue. The thing I'm most worried about is, okay, these are something I'm worried about, these drone battle cruisers, but I don't see it being that. You see here, you got a nice little 200 damage shot from just a graze. Is that if there's like a battleship wave and they're just chilling, and this is something I generally speaking do not like with purely missile based ships, is because if there's like a battleship and he's chilling near the deviant automata suppressors, it'll be extremely hard for me to do damage to him because of how the missiles will always get shot down by the point difference, and that'll be just really annoying. It'll be really hard for me to kill it, and I can see time being an issue because, I mean, the damage is alright. We get 600 DPS with these missiles, but it's not like amazing or anything, especially with the faction ones. But, I mean, we'd obviously be using Rage or Squid Rage if we were up against these battleships, because we won't have any issues at all with applying damage. Oh, and we're not keeping our range. Oh, you can see here, we're doing quite a bit of damage now from the Spark Grip. But he went down really quickly, so it's just a case of just shooting a missiles. It seems like this is obviously the first time doing it, so I'm no expert on this, and I also do not usually use missile based ships in the Abyss. You guys know I love to use the Gila. The Sacrilege players probably will have a lot of experience because the Sacrilege is used very often in the Abyss, and that'll be this is a similar concept to it in that you're just using heavy assault missiles as your main damage output, but I'm usually used to using drones. The heavy interdiction crews do not seem to usually have drones. At least the Broadsword and Onyx I know do not have a drone base, so that is a little bit of an interesting thing there. They can't use any drones whatsoever. It would be nice to have at least some drones. Then maybe like a 15-meter cubed drone bay. That would be really nice, because then you can maybe just send a few drones to these extraction caches and get them. Let's go to this bioadaptive right here, see if we get anything from this. Shoot one volley on this. Yeah, the drone battle cruisers stood no chance whatsoever. But it's again, it comes to that point of like, do looks matter? Because remember what I was like saying that I like to fly the Purifier also sometimes. I do something I occasionally do, and I fly a Purifier in T1 Abyss, and it works pretty well. But I mean, obviously T1 Abyss is not the best payouts, but it's really nice to be able to use a ship you really like the look of. And this is another example. It'll be really nice if I can actually find a way to use this Onyx in a T4 Abyss, because the T4 Abyss will give quite better than the T1 Calms in the frigates. T1 calm, or the calm sites in the frigates, give about a little bit more than T2s in cruisers, so T4 is obviously going to give a lot more than that, but obviously there's a lot more on the line. The thing I really like is that we seem to be tanking pretty alright, and we're not even using any crystal implants, and that is something I really like. We also have a pretty good buffer. If you look here, 3k of the HP, and there's also a good amount of buffer provided from the damage control, as well as 2 multi-spectrum shield hardeners, so we shouldn't have any issue with the wrecking shots unless Charybdis's EM damage goes up to too high. But let's see, because we exactly get what I was just talking about, Charybdis Tyrannos. So we got Dissipators. I don't think we'll have issues with newts. What I do see us having an issue with are these Entanglers over here, because these guys are going to slow us down and make so the Charybdis can get lots of nice free shots on us. So we're going to keep going towards the bioadaptive. Let's just make a little bit of a slight turn over there. Okay, we've got Rage. I think Rage will be good for this, because the cruisers shouldn't have a big issue applying damage to it. Start with the Webifier just to get them up a bit slower. And hopefully we can kill these Entanglers before we get slowed down for too long of a time, or until Charybdis can kill us. It doesn't seem like we're having much issues with tank here. See here, we're holding pretty well. It doesn't seem like we're getting either that big of shots from Charybdis, but okay, we're getting neutered out quite a bit. You see that 60 gigajoules, but let's actually lock up these Dissipators just in case. Okay, there's only 2 more Webifiers, so we should be able to get out of range. Actually, I don't think we'll be able to get out of range because they have quite a high base speed, these Ephialtes. I think they even got micro warp drive, so they can go 1.5. Oh, you see that? We took a big hit right there. So let's see now. Maybe we'll have to overheat, maybe we won't. But I think it's good that we destroy these Entanglers first, because it doesn't seem like neuting is a big issue. We see our Capacitor is pretty stable right there. We want to keep out of range, actually, of the Orange Cloud. The Orange Cloud will make so that we have even worse Capacitor, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to handle an Orange Cloud plus these neutings at the same time. If we did spawn, we took a big hit there. You see that wrecking shot right there? That was huge. But we still seem to have a decent amount of HP left. We'll maybe have to overheat, but there's only 1 Entangler left, so we should be able to keep the damage. If we go down into armor, then obviously I'll be overheating, but it seems like it's alright. We have a lot of buffer from the damage control, obviously. It's really good. So there, all Webifiers down. Seems like it's just Charybdis Tyrannus left, and I think now we'll be able to mitigate a lot more damage from Charybdis, since our speed will be up a lot faster. And if we just keep getting, we have to go in an arc. You see here, Charybdis is over here. We have to go like in kind of an arc to keep our transversal up. And you can see here our shield's going up quite a bit. You're taking a few hits now and then, but it seems like it's not that much of an issue. Okay, and these dissipators are now out of my web range. Just reactivate the Webifier. I'll actually land one of these volleys on the bioadaptive cache because so we can just scoop the loot. It's just to kind of simulate somewhat if it was a real situation. Obviously, we're not fully simulating it because we would probably want to go to these extraction caches. But I don't know. I don't like the idea of going for the extraction caches without an MWT. It just takes forever with the MTU, honestly. It seems like we're making good time, actually. You see here, we're 7 minutes. We're halfway through the Charybdis wave, the second wave here. So if we multiply that by 2, we'll get 14 minutes. So that's, I mean, all right time. If it's under 15 minutes, I think that'll be still really good, actually. Because over 50 minutes, that is cutting it too close. That's not enough. I like to at least have that 5-minute buffer time, just in case some kind of emergency happens. Like, say, for example, you get a really unlucky spawn or something like that, or some kind of unusual spawn, or say, for example, a disconnect happens. Like, for example, disconnects can happen in the Abyss, and you can actually lose your ship to that. And if you have a few extra minutes to spare, that will obviously be able, like, kind of like a buffer for if you were to get disconnected and be able to roll back in and save your ship. And that's also a reason I do like this hold down Q, double click, so that I don't keep going into the Abyss, because it's really important to not just double click in space, because then you'll keep going into the Abyss if you disconnect. Okay, let's see. This dissipator seems to be out of our range. Oh, he's going back in. So it's perfect, actually, with this Federation Navy Stasis Webifier, because it seems to just keep everything within our range right here. It seems like most of these enemy ships seem to be cruising in the 40-kilometer range. And I want to actually get closer to Charybdis because it seems like we're almost going to be done with this obfuscator right here. And I want to be in range to be able to actually dish out damage to Charybdis in time. So we'll go in a slight arc. We do not want to go directly to him. We're going to go a little bit to the side like this. We go directly. We don't want to go to the side, exactly like this right here, so that we keep up transversal, but at the same time we're going at a pretty high speed towards him. You can see this obfuscator is almost dead. What is our range here? 23 kilometers. Okay, that's not such a nice range right there, but I think it will be alright. Well, it's just a few seconds to start shooting already, actually, because I think missiles get a little bit of an additive bonus of speed if you're already moving towards the target, because like they'll have a little bit extra speed. So with the here, we're going to start doing damage almost straight away. We can just keep going here, actually, just to keep up transversal. We're taking hardly any damage, tanking this like an absolute boss. Really nice right here, really nice. It was interesting how we got exactly the spawns I didn't want to face. So the Charybdis, because I was worried about the wrecking shots, and also its EM damage, and also the Spark Grip drone battlecruiser waves, because they all do obviously a lot of EM damage and hit our EM hole. You can see here our EM resistance is not that high, but it's still pretty high because we're not running electrical sites like I usually do. We're actually, you know, running exotics, because annoying kinetic lock of the Onyx. Seems like this guy is falling down pretty quickly. You can see his shield almost down pretty quickly, and that's also a thing with when you're running T4s. Obviously the less buffer compared to T5, so sites will naturally go pretty quickly. This is still not as fast as my Gila, though. Usually by the time I'm approaching the 10-minute mark, usually I'm finishing off the last wave. My average time in the Gila is usually about 12 minutes, I would say. So this is still not, doesn't seem to be as fast as the Gila, but it's still pretty alright. It's decent. It's half decent at least. I was worried that we will get like really trouble applying to ships. Now the big test of the damage output. So this is the test of the tank basically we've done right now. A really big test of the damage will actually be if we were to get like Damavic waves, because Damavics will put a stress on our DPS because of how they are so small, so it'll be hard for us to apply. But then again, Damavics are they have actually got a relatively large signature radius. I have heard people say that they've got pretty high signature radius or large signature radius for frigates. So maybe that won't be a big issue, but the sleeper frigates and also the drone for frigates could be maybe an issue. But we'll just have to hope for blue clouds, and that shouldn't go that fast at all. Like in my Purifier runs, if there's a blue cloud, even with torpedoes, you know, torpedoes, they are made to attack battleships, not frigates. Heavy assault missiles are made to, you know, attack cruisers, maybe even destroyers. And on the Purifier, I have no issues attacking frigates in the blue clouds, so because the blue clouds may obviously make their signature radius so big. Oh, so exactly what I was talking about. So we get here frigates, so it's perfect. We get like a perfect test here. So we get a demonstration of tank, and we also get a demonstration of DPS. So obviously here we want to switch to the Caldari Navy, because there's going to apply a lot better to these smaller ships over here. We've also got a lot of Spark Lancers on grid. They're going to do EM damage, so we want to take them out first. And let's see if we've got any. Yeah, we've got a bit of E-War ships as well, and this is something we would want to take out soon because of how they are making us apply worse. And let's see if our tank holds. If our tank holds alright, then we should actually just switch to the Fogcaster, because he's making us do less damage. And look, it seems like our tank is holding alright. I mean, it's quite high damage numbers from frigates, you know, 50, 60 damage per frigate, and that's a lot of frigates. But our tank is still so good that it doesn't seem at all to be an issue. We'll start actually, it's important to Webify here, especially with the small stuff, because of how it's harder to apply when they're moving so fast. But when they're webbed, they're obviously going to move slower, and they're going to die very quickly. I think these Fogcasters actually have a bigger signature radius than the normal Spark, the attack rogue drones. These Spark Lancers here, they're like attack rogue drones. You can also get, you know, the other ones like the Ember Lance, I think is what they're called. And I think these attack variants have a little bit of smaller signature radius and also move a lot faster. So I think that that forecast did go down a bit slow. Actually, no, well, maybe I'm completely just dreaming here, because that Spark Class almost went down straight away. But you see here, we're doing so much damage when we're Webifying them. Like, the damage is crazy with the Webifying. I didn't expect them to actually go down. Oh, look at that, almost like two-shotted right there. Oh, this is really nice, really nice. Let's take out these Snarecasters, because we're going so slow when we're hitting webbed round right here. Okay, actually, we started shooting on the spotlighter by accident, but just kill it off. It'll not take a long time. It seems like the Webifier is really effective against these guys. Okay, we've got minus 50% kinetic penalty, so also we are at a bit of a disadvantage here, since their enemy resistances will be slightly higher. If it was the minus 70 kinetic resistances, obviously this will go a bit faster. So this is yet another downside that is being proved to the test. So the unlucky resistance for us would be the minus the 51 that we've got right here, because their kinetic resistance is going to be slightly higher, and we're obviously going to be doing less damage to them. But it seems like we're chewing through these rogue drones pretty good, and that's really nice. I'm really happy with that. I wonder how it would go with Triglavians, because Triglavians I think have pretty high kinetic resistances naturally, but you know, the weather effect is obviously going to make it a lot worse for them. But I'm still curious how fast I'll go, but that'll be for another day. The Damavix, I really wonder how it'll go, but I don't think it'll be that much of an issue. They are pretty fast, but when they're over, they're not that fast, and also, as I said before, they have a big signature radius, so I don't think it'll be that much of an issue. Killing these guys one by one, really easy money right there, easy money right there. How much money have we got right now? It doesn't seem to be that good loot right here. Got the 2v2 cruiser brawl thing. They don't exist anymore, I think. I'm still dropping them for some reason. Yeah, only 6 million, so not at all that great. You know, you can maybe get sometimes potentially some really good stuff from here. You could sometimes get that specialization scroll book. Yeah, this is really bad loot. What is this, 10 mil? I've never seen that bad loot before. And it obviously is a lot to do to the fact that we're not taking the extraction caches, because a lot of the loot comes from the extraction caches. I'd say on average, sometimes even half the loot comes from these extraction caches, actually, because of just how much minerals they can drop. You can get many of the type of minerals that are used, or these materials that are used to build the Triglavian ships. You can get server data, you know, that kind of red loot you can just hand in Concord stations or just sell. And also the 0-point condensate and the isogen, I think the isogen mineral that is used to build a lot of the Triglavian ships. Plate forges, you see these here, these logistics ships, they're quite slow. You can see here, look how slow they're going. So we're just going to kill these really quickly. This will be easy money right there, easy money. We'll start Webifying this guy, so that he'll already be slow, because we're reloading right now. When we start Webifying him, he'll already be on the way down, or really slow and easy for us. So look at this, 2 meters per second. He should go down almost instantly, actually. Let's see about this. Let's see here. Oh, he's got 900 damage, basically almost one shot right there. But yeah, that is it for the Onyx in T4 Abyss. Seemed to go alright. Time is not amazing. I mean, we just were under 15 minutes, and we were a bit lucky with that rogue drone wave in the end, because those are quite fast, and it definitely seemed to be very effective in our applicability right there. Overall, I think this could work. I think this definitely could work. I mean, we had the minus 50% exotic or kinetic resistance, so that will obviously put us at disadvantage as well. So if we had the minus 70%, we would go even faster. So I'm pretty happy with this test. We got a lot of testing done right there. We got an example of Charybdis Tyrannus being very easy. I was worried about the wrecking shots. Wrecking shots didn't seem to at all be that much of an issue. We didn't even need to overheat. We also got the rogue drone battle cruisers, which do crazy amounts of DPS with their spark grip damage, with the EM damage from that. We have pretty low EM resistance, but didn't seem to either be an issue there. So I'm really happy with this Onyx, and maybe I might even try this on Tranquility. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.